So I'm still not used to being back on a schedule again. And yes, I'm wearing the same shirt I wore yesterday. How's everybody doing? Tuesday it was 40 degrees Celsius. So you are in Australia, right? Or Texas. Uh-oh, hang on a second, folks. There we go. For some reason, my YouTube has changed. And I don't understand why or how to get it back. I think maybe YouTube has a new format for watching videos and putting comments on videos, because it's no longer my video and the comments while we're talking up the side. It's now below it. And when I watch a video, I have to go through all this other stuff to get to the comments. Hey. KB Canner, I wear flip-flops year round. I bet you do. Okay, let me just scroll. How Briar borrowed my mouse pad, and I told him I wanted a new one for Christmas, and he never got it for me. How I wanted a pad. Where's the one I was just working on? They sell them at Giant Tiger. What the heck did I do with it? Oh, here it is. They sell them at Giant Tiger. Now, it's somebody's birthday today, isn't it? Whose anniversary? Hey, and a happy anniversary, Mary. That's awesome. Congratulations. Now, they sell these really thick notepads at Giant Tiger, and Briar got into a habit of buying me one. He bought me one year because he didn't know what to buy. It usually comes with a pen, and it was $5. And he bought me one year, and I went, those are great. He goes, yeah? I said, yeah, because then I do my bills on them. And then I put them up on the calendar. These are the perfect size for that. And he goes, oh, so he got in the habit of buying me one for like 3 years in a row. Well, I haven't had one in a couple of years. And I'm working on finishing up the first three he gave me. So, I said, I want one of my, and I found it in Giant Tiger. I said, I want one. It's in the decoration stuff. But he waited until the day before Christmas Eve, and there was none left. He got me a journal instead, which is really cool because everybody knows I journal. And he bought me a purple journal with a pen. And I went, oh, that's awesome, another journal. And he goes, no, that's your pad. I said, no, it's a journal. He said, just because you say it says it's a journal doesn't mean you have to use it as one. I said, yes, I do. I know. Oh, and speaking of the bank, I got this letter from the township stating what my new property valuation is for 2023. Happy New Year! It's not there yet, man. Saturday night, us patrons, we're going to rock it out starting at 9 o'clock. Let's pay the bills. If you are not a patron, then you are missing out. You can pay for it annually. You get 5% discount, but it is $5 a month American or $7.50 a month Canadian. And you get a $5 discount if you want to pay if you want an annual membership. And we have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'm actually probably going to do a live stream with my patrons. Every Friday we listen to music and we rock out and have fun, right? For about an hour and a half. And we call it Freaky Friday. But this time we're not doing it on Friday. I am going to have a patrons live on Friday. It's just not going to be a Freaky Friday because we're doing a 3-hour. We're going to try and get under the radar. And we're doing a 3-hour New Year's Eve. And we're going to ring in the New Year's together. Okay? So, hey, Steven. How are you, darling? Let me say hi to everybody. How do I do that on this new format here? Okay, participants. Hey, Natalie. Aloha, Seashell. Doris. Becky. Faisy. It's been a while. In a pickle. Jackie Bits. Janet Fitton. Jean Phillips. KB Canner. Hi, Karen. Kingdom Artist. Life with the Wolfies. Linda Bob. M. Hi, M. Are you like, do you work with Bond? James Bond? Mary Cook. Hey, happy anniversary, Mary Cook, Minnesota farmer's wife. Oma Nita. Hi, Oma. Roxanne Tracy. Cheryl Coombs. That name sounds so familiar to me from like high school. Stephen Seedfeld. Hey, baby. Tammy Wright and Teresa Pomerlo. I have a real hard time with that. Okay, so let's pop that chat out. Say hi. Hey, Ninja Clan Kathy, how's it going? And Daydream Believer and Fiona B. So where was I before I paid the bills with the Patreon? Right. So I get this statement. Now, we have a credit union, but our mortgage is with a bank. And I get this statement from a bank saying, because we pay our property taxes with our mortgage. And I get this statement from the mortgage company saying, well, you don't have to pay any taxes for 2023. You have a surplus. Okay, folks. I just about should a ring around myself, because when does the bank ever phone you and say you have, or you have a surplus amount of money in your tax account? Now, it's not a lot. Pomerlo. Okay, Pomerlo. All right. Okay, thank you for that. I have your barley meatloaf potato. Oh, Scheisenheimer. I'm making meatloaf right now. And we had beef barley soup last night. And by the time the soup had sat overnight, it was like a loaf of barley. And I gave it like, soaked broth and stuff. And I gave it to the dog. I could have used that in my meatloaf. My goodness. Karen, happy birthday to you. Happy everybody birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Karen Black. Happy birthday to you. Mwah! And many more. Hey, Linda, how are you, darling? So, anyway, I think when I put the packages, the 1 pound on the thing for my beef, I think they gave me 1.5 pounds, because you know how you get the sausage of like a Jimmy Dean sausage of hamburger and they tell you that's 1 pound? I get more than that in that package. It's like that. So I'm thinking I'm getting 1.5 pounds, right? So anyway, it was Cheryl. Oh my God. Okay, we got to do this again. Is it Cheryl's birthday? Whose birthday is it? Please tell me so I can fix that problem. Okay, the tax payment, right. So, hi, Helen. So anyway, I phoned them. And they said, well, yeah, you don't have to pay. You have a surplus. I said, how can I have a surplus? And she said, well, this is how much we're taking for your property taxes. I said, that's 1/3 of my mortgage payment. I said, and then I did the math. I said, that's 3 times what I'm supposed to be paying. Right? So she said, oh, dear. Right? And she said, well, this is your surplus. I said, so let's do this. I want to pay my mortgage off as fast as possible because I only locked it in for 3 years and interest rates are climbing. But I got a good interest rate for the next 2.5 years, right? So I said, instead of not taking taxes out of me for 2023, I'm already used to paying them. Can we take the surplus and just make a payment on an extra mortgage payment on the principal of my account? She said, sure. I said, done. I said, okay, now keep the taxes the same until I sort out what's going on with the municipal office. Okay, keep the taxes the same, but can we do it bi-weekly instead of monthly? And she said, sure. I said, and add $50 a month. I said, make my bi-weekly payment this amount. I said, because she said, okay, well, you know, it's not going to be exact. I said, I know. When you make your mortgage payment or any payment bi-weekly, folks, if you can get any payment to change from monthly to bi-weekly to come out of your account, you make an extra payment a year. Because bi-weekly, you know, if you pay it monthly, some months have extra days in them, right? But if you're paying it every 2 weeks, you divide 52 by 26. You're making 26 bi-weekly payments, not 24. So you're making an extra payment. So she said, sure. And I said, okay, because I said, if there's one thing I've learned is if you can make an extra $5 payment a month, that comes directly off your principal. And I've got a really low, not low, but a really good mortgage rate right now. So now I've added $50 a month to my mortgage payment. And I may be adding to a surplus of my taxes again. And if that's the case, it comes right off. If it gets sorted out and I end up having to pay less in taxes, then I'm just going to ask them to keep the payment the same. And that goes directly to the principal. You see where I'm going with this? So I sat down and did I do this every year just before January because I got to start getting ready for my taxes. I used to round my car payment up, and then once a year, if I was short, I could miss a payment. Well, there you go. But I'm trying to make extra payments. Not a good time of year to start that because January, February, March are my worst year of income. But we're really lucky that Howie's boss likes him and gave him a little raise. It's not actually it's weird. Howie works flat rate. And it's not really a raise, it's a bonus. If he makes over X number of hours in a pay period, he gets an extra, $1 an hour or something over and above. Like, say you make 40 hours in a week or 50 hours in a week, right? Because he works flat rate. If he makes 60, those 10 extra hours, he gets a raise on, right? So, hey, Jessica. Yeah, and exactly, Paula. And if I can get to the point where, like, I'd like to talk to the bank and say, like, who has our mortgage, and say, can I set up an account? Because they take it directly out of my mortgage, out of my bank account. But can I set up like a bill account for my mortgage, so that if I ever have an extra $100, I just go and pop it on the mortgage? Because that's what I did with our loan. Our loan, I make an extra payment a month on now, regardless, because it's a high interest rate compared to our mortgage. So the sooner I pay that off, the better, right? But every time I make an extra payment, that's a payment that they're not getting the interest on. It goes directly to the principal, and it goes down a lot faster than you would think. When I had a car, yes, my cousin's daughter in New Mexico is missing, and she is 16. I just hope she is found soon. Oh God, Rosie, well, we will add that to our prayers. Absolutely. God, I hope they find her. God, hear our prayer. God, hear our prayer. That her cousin is found, right? It may be your cousin's daughter, but she's your cousin too, right? So, everybody lift a family up into prayers. Um, so my next thing is, if I can make an extra payment, interest free on that loan, it'll come down as fast as the mortgage, right? I've got 3 years before my car's paid off, 2.5 years before my car's paid off, my truck's paid off, and I have to rework my mortgage for whatever the interest rate is going to be in 2025. Wish I'd locked it in for 5 years. So these are all things that go through my head that I start sorting out at the end of the year, because I got to start gathering up my stuff for taxes. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good idea. Post a link for your cousin's missing daughter on the Facebook group so that we can share it and hopefully bring her home sooner. Okay? Is there some way you can do that, Rosie? I know. I know. I know. Hey, Joanne, how are you? Um, Cooking supper while listening live chat. Hope everyone is having a great day. Thanks for reminding me I need to get in touch with our bank for that exact reason. You're welcome. Now listen, folks. I'm not going to tell, and my screen is awful dark. Hang on, there it is. Okay, I'm back. I just put my meatloaf in the oven, and I'll tell you about it in a minute. You paid your mortgage off 5 years early doing that. Well, that's what I'm hoping for, because our mortgage payment, what we owe, is now less than half the worth of the house. You feel where I'm going with this? There may be a time when Howie and I don't want to keep this house up anymore, unless we finish fixing up the basement and make a back patio, and we rent it out to a local young couple or something. You know what I mean? But that's going to take a lot of work. I need a new roof on this house, right? I need to fix my pool. So Arizona is getting rain. It's not, okay, whose birthday was it? Was it Cheryl's? Whose birthday was it? Okay, let's fix that. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cheryl. Happy birthday to you. Hey, Raph, how are you, my darling? We bought a house in need of love, mainly because it really had a new metal roof. Well, I want to put a metal roof on this, and we're not going to be able to do it this summer. I've gone through the finances. We're not going to be able to do it this summer. So Howie said, well, the roof isn't leaking yet, and he can probably where some of the shingles are peeling. These are 25-year shingles, and it's only 13 years old, and the first half of the house are 25-year shingles, right? The second half we did in 2014, right? And the 25-year shingles are already losing their asphalt and stuff. It's really a ripoff. So, I mean, I thought we had another couple of years before we'd have to do a roof. Yeah, your birthday's in a few months. Mine's in a couple of weeks. I want a metal roof. A, it'll add to the value of the house. B, we will never have to replace the roof if we choose to live here for the rest of our lives. You see, if everything's paid for, we have options, don't we, in our retirement? We could move to a double wide mobile home somewhere. As long as I got a wood stove and a well, I don't care, right? So, hey, Karen, how are you, darling? Will snow fall easier with a metal roof? Oh, yeah, it'll slide off. As a matter of fact, we would probably have to get those. There's a metal blade at the that sits at the edge of the roof, so that if there's ice, it breaks it up as it falls, so that nobody gets like accidentally hit on the deck with a sheet of ice, right? Hey, Skippy Jones. You're welcome, darling. Well, that's my point. Can you paint that rubber coating on until you are able to get a metal roof? I don't think it needs that. I really don't think it needs that. So we'll see. I know, but the attic space dulls a lot of the noise. And I also love the sound of rain on a roof. And, I mean, when we first moved to the country, when I was 12, we'd gone from row housing, 50-year-old, God, probably 70-year-old row housing that had lathing and plaster in the walls before my dad renovated, to a brand new built Viceroy. And I'll tell you what, it had no attic space. There were great big, huge beams running through the ceiling down both sides of the roof. And I remember Dad making an arched ceiling in the hallway and putting faux brick in. It looked really cool. But that first winter, when the house was settling and it hit 40 below temps, those timbers, they'd just go off like rifle shots. Wake you up out of a dead sleep, giving you a heart attack. I say, Dad, what the hell was that? He said, it's just the timbers. They're snapping and popping in the cold, that's all. The rain dances on my metal exhaust pipe in the kitchen. Oh, that's cool. So how was everybody's Christmas? Everybody have a good holiday? We're doing, I have to, yes, you can see that I've already started taking the ornaments off this tree. I was supposed to take down the living room tree today, and I can't. I got to do it tomorrow. So, but there's going to be some Life with the Wolfies videos coming up because I'm repotting all my plants so I can get my fingers in the dirt before I absolutely cannot hold myself back anymore. Somebody sent me some seeds of the special kind, and I want to say thank you very much for that. That's all I'm going to say. You were happy to have our company. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Everybody's pipes froze. Oh no, really? See, that's the thing is, people can talk about climate change and climate crisis all they want. Yeah, there may be a climate crisis in like India and China, where they have coal-fired plants and they burn garbage and people are allowed to burn their loved ones on the edge of the river and shit like that. But here in Canada, we're being penalized by carbon taxes and they're talking about, this climate crisis, climate change. I'm sorry, folks. The climate does change. It's not a crisis. It's what happens. You can't stop the world from turning. You can't stop the ice ages from circulating. Just because we don't want it to change in our lifetime does not mean it's not supposed to naturally. I'll be happy to start seed sprouting too soon. Oh, you had relatives. Oh, wonderful. But the thing is I remember when we had our mobile home in Arizona, we had a vacation home, a mobile home in a park in Arizona for 3 years. We went 3 times a year before we realized it was costing us way too much for those 3 trips a year. So, and the maintenance on the mobile home. But I remember one night the pipe froze, the hose froze. And it's like, okay, it's not supposed to happen in Arizona, but it does. So why, their standards for basements, there are none, I don't think. Their standards for insulation and that are totally different from Canada, where it hits 40 below zero in any given winter, right? How to overwinter geraniums? I think you just trim them down and pot them in potting soil and put them in a sunny window and water them now and again. That's how my mom did it. I cannot overwinter geraniums because they make me sneeze. Sneeze really bad. I can have them outside, but I'm allergic to geraniums in the house. So my family was here, but I get blue the beginning of December and my birthday. Well, I hear you, honey. Hey, Sandra. I'm glad I'm living at Amy's now. Beveling, that's what I always tell people. There were no people in the dinosaurs' time. The world turns. Absolutely. Right? The thing is people don't like change. Right? Yes, we have to fight pollution. It's a problem. But forcing electric cars on people is not the solution. Anybody want to look up on how on what it takes, where those batteries come from, what goes into them, and what it takes to get the materials to go into those batteries, and what a huge environmental mess it is if those batteries catch fire. Right? Hey, Danny. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. It's coming. March is coming. Hello from Canada, Nunavut. Canada is in the house. Terry, rock on, girl. Who's Terry? Who's Terry? Look up the Congo slavery. All I'm saying is if my government is pushing it, I don't trust it, not one bit. I have been a proud Canadian. And you know, and I voted and everything, but the system is now broken. Our system in our government system is broken. There's billions of dollars that went out to people in relief aid that they never should have received, people who didn't need it. And yet the money that was supposed to go to some relief fund never got there. Because why? Because the government ended up giving, $2,000 a month to hundreds of thousands of people who weren't entitled to it. So, I mean, yeah, well, see, Jean, voting him out of office didn't work. Last time an election was called, he got 32% of the vote. And the way our government, 32 to 33% of the vote. And the way our government works is there are four main parties in the House. And that's the Bloc Québécois, the Progressive Conservatives, the Liberals, and the NDP. Now, I used to be a staunch NDP person until Jagmeet Singh decided to walk across the Parliament floor and unofficially back all the Liberals' decisions on the Parliament floor, thus giving the Liberals a majority vote on all things. See, the system's broken when shit like that can happen. Oh, it is different. It's a lot different. People think, oh, you're a liberal. No, I am whatever my country needs. And right now, it's not the Liberals or the NDPs. And it's certainly not the Bloc Québécois, right? I have no idea what CERB is. I have people in jail receive CERB. Many don't know that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's just, hey, Wild Fox, how's it going, sweetheart? So what I'm saying is, if my government's saying, oh, we're, our gas prices should not be any more than 89 cents a liter right now, which would be about $3.75 a gallon or something, right? It shouldn't be any more than that, a gallon, right? And everybody's excited because the prices over the holidays were like, ooh, wow, $1.25 a liter. Yeah, that's only because we've been being charged $2.50 a liter off and on for 3 years because of the carbon tax. Let's get off. this train. I have to go soon. But let's do the smudging. Somebody, thank you very much, sent me a beautiful smudge stick. And we're going to say, cleanse the negativity of us in this chat and from my heart. Lift our hopes and our prayers up to the Creator on your smoke. Okay. Where's my abalone shell? See, I was like down to that. Little bits and pieces. So I have another smudge stick somewhere. I just don't know where it is. Let's just get rid of that right there. Thank you for your love and protection. Anyway, stop the world. I want to get off. Okay, I hope your hands free, Jesse. Please be hands free. So I've now gotten to the point where I no longer trust even the party. Okay, think about it this way. And Canada is looking at the Progressive Conservative Party and Pierre Poilievre, who is determined to be our next prime minister. And he's like shooting down everything. And he says everything the way I think. But he's still a politician. You know, Trudeau was the big Canadian red wave, right? Made it in, just red waved the entire country in his first election in 2015. Then we found out what a moron he is. A drama coach. He inherited nothing from his father. The only thing he knows how to do is to act and parrot. And he's not very good at it. So, but he was the great red hope for Canada. And now they're putting forth someone else as the next big hope to fix our government. Our government is broken. It's not going to be fixed by voting in somebody else from the top. It's got to be dismantled from the ground up and rebuilt in a more traditional tribal type thing, right? Like, for instance, in the United States, like, we don't have a limit on how many times you can become prime minister that I'm aware of. Hence, Trudeau's father was in for 7 years or something. Hey, Edie. Yes, a gallon. Grocery points add up to no more than $1 a gallon. 30 gallons max transaction, use or lose the points. Right, exactly. So, but is it corrupt? Is it corrupt? Because if you think about it, the way it is in the States, it's one party, one vote. Right? That's a lot of votes to juggle when it comes down to usually just two people. How easy is that going to be to manipulate? And because they can only have 2 terms of 4 years, they can do a lot of damage in those 4 years and have no accountability. This way, every president that steps up, even for 8 years, still is being excused for a lot of things that are happening, the changes they wanted to make, because they're still cleaning up the bullshit from the previous administration. It takes more than 8 years to fix a country. Here, I'll tell you how to fix them. You don't let anybody sit for in places of power in the government if the government is running at more than a 5% deficit. Do you know how many people would lose their jobs? They would have no choice but to bring in an entire new system, right? Because all the politicians that sit in power and go up through the ranks and into the Senate and all that crap would lose their jobs. They get, for instance, our prime minister, when he is finished, he still gets $250,000 a year for the rest of his life as a pension. Even if he was only office 6 months. I'll be right back. I got to take my meatloaf out. Give me a couple of minutes, guys, because I'm videoing. Why do you got to do this to me? Oh. Ow! Shit, what did I just step on? Oh. Oh my gosh. Okay, our timer has gone off. And I'm going to say these need another 10 minutes. Meatloaf needs another 10 minutes. So we have time. Hey, Joe Mama. Oh, no. Still, Joe? Still? I got your email. I will email me later, okay? And tell me what's, keep me updated, please. Only if you have the energy. The parties can have more than 8 years. For example, after 8 years, another Democrat or Republican government can be elected. Yeah. There was a cake rack on when I was pulling out my loaf pans. A cake rack came out of the cupboard and fell on the floor, and one of the feet was broken, and I stepped on it, and I'm glad I didn't put all my weight on it, because it would have punctured my foot. It didn't, but it hurt. God, I hope they're able to help him, because he was doing so well. Everything was going so well. So anyway, the point I was trying to make is I don't like to talk politics on this channel, but every once in a while, as the new year approaches, and don't ask me about New Year's resolutions. I don't make resolutions. I don't give myself goals that I want to attain, only to beat myself up emotionally when I don't attain them, because I left, unrealistic expectations on myself, kind of thing, right? Anyway. Things are broken. This is the worst I've ever seen the world in my almost 59 years in its government. How can a government be allowed to operate when nobody wants it there? How is that allowed? Anyway, let's say a prayer, because there's a lot of people having problems. We got missing kids. And we've got Joe's husband, who's been doing really well. And all of a sudden, he's running a fever and his oxygen is not working. And we all know he's been battling cancer. There are people that are facing financial problems, folks that are ill, alone, depressed, If you suffer from depression at this time of year, and even though you're medicated, this time of year is a good time to start taking vitamin D3 or D3 drops. It's called the sunshine vitamin for a reason. We need it. okay, to help balance our serotonin levels in the winter. Whether or not you suffer depression, it's a good idea. I am not a doctor or a homeopathic professional in any way, shape, or form. I'm just telling you what works for me. All right. It is time. I have to go. My meatloaf is going to come out of the oven in about 4 minutes. So that's time long enough for us to have our prayer. This is our push of spiritual nourishment to each other and out to the world, whoever may need uplifting. Okay? This is not religion. This is you connect to your faith, I connect to mine, and we will meet somewhere where love connects us hand to hand and heart to heart and share, right? And share the light. All right? So let's do some deep breathing. In goes the love, out goes the fear. In goes the peace, out goes the negativity. And in comes the light, and out goes the dark, if there's any. We are all capable. Hey, God, creator and one source of all. How's it going? Thank you for the beautiful white Christmas, God, and also thank you for today's melt. I'm okay if spring comes now. Thank you, God, for the many blessings that have been heaped upon me and mine this month of celebration. There's a lot of people out there, God, that aren't feeling so blessed, that are having a hard time. They're alone or neglected or unsupported, addicted, ill, frightened, elderly, confused. We lift those people up to you, God, because we know you've got our back. We always shine with the light of your love because we count our blessings daily. So, God, we ask that you share your light and your love and pour them especially down on these people so that they have the strength to put one foot in front of the other and keep going forward, even when they feel a little bit powerless and hopeless. Because we have them. Thank you, God, for filling us with the light of your divine love so that we may share it with all those around us as we walk forward, heart to heart, hand in hand, shedding and sharing the light of your love and pushing back the darkness. We are so very blessed. Amen. Namaste. Shalom. Peace be with you. Merry meet. Walk in the shining light of God's love, whatever the language you use, talking to your higher power. The language of love is always the best language for being received, right? So let's just keep sharing the love. Blessings until tomorrow. Thank you for saying that, Linda. We'll see you all tomorrow. Mwah! Take care. God bless.